I'm Craig Seymour. I'm the author of All I Could Bear, My Life in the Strip Clubs of Gay Washington, D.C.
No,
So you want me to look into the lens, right? First time I ever went to one of the clubs, I mean, I hadn't been out very long, so I hadn't even gone to a lot of gay clubs, and I was still very reserved and everything. And I remember just walking in this club, you know, it's kind of like this dark, womb-like space, and just seeing like one of the most gorgeous guys I'd ever seen in my life, standing on the bar, completely naked, you know, dong out and the whole nine, and I mean, I really just felt like I was in a fantasy land or something. And then when people were like touching him and like, you know, jacking him off and squeezing his butt, and I had not had any experiences really touching other guys at that point, or even really openly expressing my desires, because I always felt that if I really looked at somebody I liked on the street, that I could get my ass kicked. Surprisingly not weird. It's almost like I was given a new way to communicate. Like, it was almost like I was communicating with my body. And it was one of those things where somebody's like really like jacking you off in public. It was almost very sexual, but then strangely not sexual at the same time. Once I talk about in the book, somebody bit my dick.
Yeah.
That certainly wasn't something that I thought was pleasant. And then there would be times when people would try to like stick their fingers up my ass, and that was something that I didn't like, obviously. But, you know, just being touched. I mean, who doesn't like being touched, you know? I'm all for dating strippers. You know, I don't discriminate. And you know, there are people that delude themselves. There are people that delude themselves in any profession. You know what I mean? I don't think it's limited to stripping or sex work or anything like that. She talked so much about sex on her albums and things like that that I just thought it was an appropriate conversation, and we were talking about something. It wasn't like I just walked in. It wasn't like that was one of my prepared questions. Like, okay, Janet Jackson, ask her how she gets her rocks off when she's alone. You know, we were talking about her feeling sexy, and she would say that she didn't feel sexy, something I totally get now, but I didn't get it at the time, and I was just kind of pushing her as far as like, what do you mean? Do you feel sexy when you're doing a photo shoot? Do you feel sexy? And it was just one of those things. I was like, well, what about when you masturbate? Do you feel sexy? And so again, it just kind of came up organically. And she didn't flinch. She just came right at it. But then, and I didn't even think it was that big of a deal because it was in the context of a conversation. But then when I turned the story into my editor, it's like, I can't believe you asked Janet Jackson about masturbation. When she saw me and we were riding together in a limousine, I think I was on the verge of asking a question. I was like, so, do you love... And she was like, can I just ask you something really quickly? And I was like, what? And she was like, she asked if am I mixed or something like that. I have it right in the book because it actually comes right from the tape transcript. But then I'm just like, no, because I also... because I've grown, you know, both of my parents are black, I don't... It kind of internally in my head, I don't even see how necessarily people can perceive me as not being black. I mean, of course I'll look in the mirror and see, okay, fine. But like inside my head, so I was like, no, what? I'm black. Both my parents are black and everything like that. And then she kind of got almost like she had offended me, or it was the kind of thing where I felt like she was trying to make a connection with me. And then I was just kind of like, what? You know? So it was really an awkward moment, less because of race, but just because here this big superstar was trying to bond with me over something, and I basically just like threw it back in her face. Is to do it like this, to pull it from the back. I'm not taking my shirt off.
Yeah,
but, and pull it, but I could never do that. I could never pull it off. Like if you pull it off, it'd be so.
So what was the girly way? Just lift it up like this?
Yeah, I lift it up like that. But I would just quickly. Sometimes I wouldn't even wear it because I was so self-conscious about it. But I just never could pull that off. I would do it and it would get stuck in my neck. I would be like. And it just looked ridiculous.
And so what do you do? You're just standing there like when the music's
I'd go like this, yeah. That's basically what I would do. And I'd be like, you know.
Well, for me, it would probably be more like...
Right, yeah. Or you need to hold it, lift it up like a trunk. But yeah.
But so this is it. So this is it.
Yeah, this is all I would do, you know.
That's great. I can do this.
And this would be when I was really into it. Sometimes I'd just be standing there like, you know.
And people would just be filling you up, huh?
Well, not when I was standing
Oh,
up,
yeah.
but basically, so I was standing, and then if they put $1 on my side, then I'd kind of go down like this and be like, hey, what's up? You have a good night? So,
You wouldn't want me to
chill.
be next to you because I'd be like,